This past Sunday at Clash in Italy, we saw Ruca, a an an upstart from NXT, do the impossible, do the unthinkable, if you will, and that is defeat Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now, obviously, we are fully aware that yes, this is Ruca's first championship on the main roster. This is actually her third championship overall. People forget that Ruca is a former NXT Women's North American Champion and a former Women's Speed Champion as well. Now, obviously, last night on Raw, we saw Lyra Valkyria ask for her excuse me, ask for her long awaited and anticipated rematch for the title, and Ruca may have accepted the idea, but there are still several other superstars who might want that opportunity. But the question is, who? Who wants that opportunity? Well, interestingly enough, there are several who would want that opportunity, but there's a couple that we have not seen in weeks, and one of them is Asuka. And there's been a lot of chatter that she was retired. Technically, she isn't, because apparently she'll be making appearances in WWE sporadically. She will be making sporadic appearances on Raw. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. I am hella tired. Either on Raw, SmackDown. Maybe we might see her in NXT. Maybe we might see her in AAA, which would be interesting. But there is also Bayley, Becky Lynch. There's Ivy Nile, Io Sky, Liv Morgan, the current Women's World Champion, Lyra Valkyria, as I mentioned, Maxine Dupree. There's also Natty, Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, and of course Stephanie Vaquer. Interestingly enough, we did find out that we didn't find out. We actually just recently noticed that the roster for Monday Night Raw has become a little interesting, if you will, when it comes to the women's division. And honestly, there really isn't a whole lot of superstars that could take up that challenge. Obviously yes, we do know that yes, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria are owed rematches for the title. Excuse me. But let's just be real. There's three superstars, actually four. There's four superstars who are in desperate need of singles gold in WWE. First one up is Roxanne Perez. The reason for Roxanne Perez is because over the last few weeks or so, maybe even the last month, ever since WrestleMania, it seems like Roxanne Perez has become more of an afterthought in the Judgment Day than she anticipated. Because when you look at her time in NXT, she dominated. Excuse me. She dominated the NXT women's division with an iron fist. Whether she was a babyface or a heel, she proved why she's known as the Prodigy. Excuse me. And she proved it week in and week out. And ever since WrestleMania, it seems like it seems like Roxanne Perez has questioned her decision to be a part of the Judgment Day, and it seems like maybe Roxanne believes in her heart, maybe she believes that she should leave the Judgment Day and go at it on her own. And if that is to be the case, which if you guys saw last night on Raw, it seems like Roxanne Perez is kind of fed up with Liv Morgan and kind of wants to leave the Judgment Day. So maybe Finn Balor was right. Maybe Roxanne shouldn't trust the Judgment Day. But I will say, I will say, the battles that Roxanne Perez and Sol Ruca could have over the women's Intercontinental title, I think honestly they could make some magic with that one, because they could. Damn, there's like no words to describe the chaos that we could see between Sol Ruca and Roxanne Perez. Another one is definitely Maxine Dupree. The only reason is because she's owed a rematch, and she requested to be a part of the Queen of the Ring tournament. But let's be real, I highly doubt that anybody is gonna get injured in the brackets. Like, if there's one person that could potentially get injured, it would most likely be Liv Morgan, which is a possibility. But if that were to be the case, then Maxine could potentially get involved in that bracket of the of the tournament. But we'll have to wait and see. But Maxine Dupree she's truly progressed as a talent, and I find it actually intriguing, if you will, that she went from being a manager to one of the fastest rising stars on Raw in the women's division, which is insane. And it has a lot to do with the fact that she had a lot of great coaches in her career. Obviously, Otis, Akira Tozawa, Chad Gable, who else? Ivy Nile, Natalia, just to name a few. So we could see Maxine Dupree take up that opportunity, but you never know. Speaking of Ivy Nile, another one who was left out of the Queen of the Ring tournament, and she has yet to catch her footing, if you will, on the main roster. And some people believe that her main roster call up was a bit too soon, and in a matter of speaking, I kind of agree. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. But at the same time, Ivy Nile really didn't need to win a championship in NXT to get over. Like the moment she showed up to NXT as part of the faction known as oh my god, what was it? Diamond Mine. Excuse me. As part of the faction known as cannot speak. Diamond Mine. She instantly got over. Like her strength, her athleticism, her agility, her speed. She's basically the total package. And one could argue that if Maxine Dupree got that opportunity, there would be no doubt in my mind that that Ivy Nile could become a huge threat as women's Intercontinental Champion. But that brings us to one other person. And this one might be a bit of a sleeper, but this one actually comes from NXT. Because we know that Sol Ruca wants to be a fighting champion, and we know that she wants to take on all comers. I think there's one person that we would want to see get called up to the main roster and take up the challenge, and that's Zarya. People forget. I mean, don't get me wrong. Zarya truly has become a very dominant superstar in NXT. Excuse me, but ever since she broke up Zaruka, it seems like Zarya has lost her way, if you will, and has yet to accomplish what she wanted to accomplish the moment she got to NXT, which was become a champion in NXT. And she had opportunities at the TNA women at the TNA Knockouts title. She had opportunities at the women's tag team titles alongside Sol Ruca. She had opportunities at the NXT women's title, and she's had opportunities at the women's North American title, the women's speed title, and she never could reach that summit. Not because of her lack of in-ring capabilities. It's because there is something that's holding her back. And in my opinion, the one thing that's holding her back is herself. So in my honest opinion, excuse me. So in my opinion, imagine what happens if Zarya found herself and became a dominant superstar. The battles that we could see between Sol and Zarya over the Intercontinental title would be insane. But between those four, who should be the first one to not challenge? Crazy enough, Zarya. Why? Simple. She has her focus on the women's North American title currently being held by Tatum Paxley. Excuse me. And I have a feeling that Zarya is going to be in for a hell of a task against someone the likes of Tatum Paxley, because Tatum has truly it may have taken her a few years, but she truly has found herself in NXT. And it took being stabbed in the back by the culling to do so. To literally find her footing in NXT. It literally took that for that to happen. So I've got a feeling we probably won't be seeing Zarya on the main roster anytime soon. Probably within another 8 to 9 months, maybe even a year at best. But that brings us to 3. Roxanne Perez, Maxine Dupree, and if I can go back here on my phone, and Ivy Nile. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be Maxine Dupree. I think just because of the fact that we could see Maxine Dupree turn heel at some point and join the Vision, which honestly, some people believe that it should happen. Others believe that she's just getting advice from Theory, which could lead to her chasing after the women's Intercontinental title again. But honestly, I think she's too lost in the shuffle right now to even be put in the conversation of the women's Intercontinental title, because there are so many storylines that are happening right now on Raw. Excuse me. If WWE were to add one more, it would just be a complete clusterfuck. And honestly, think about this, right? Think of the storylines that's happening right now. The Bloodline storyline is continuing. It's continuing with Roman Reigns having the Usos, and now Jacob Fatu in his corner. The Bloodline is going to be as more dangerous as they had ever been. And think about this. They're baby faces now. So I have no doubt in my mind that this version of the Bloodline, they're gonna do right with WWE. And I'm not so sure how long Roman Reigns will be champion. For all we know, he could be champion until SummerSlam. He could be champion until next year. Who the hell knows? All we know is that excuse me, all we know is that we are going to enjoy this title run while it lasts, because the moment he drops the World Heavyweight title, I have no doubt in my mind that Roman Reigns could very may well retire. So this could be Roman's last championship run that he ever has in his entire career, which is possible. Speaking of Roman Reigns, we got Seth Rollins, the Street Profits, Joe Hendry, and the Vision. Just that alone is just insane. We've got as well the Obafemi Brock Lesnar saga. There's obviously Becky Lynch crashing out over faulty management and whatnot. There's a lot going on. So I don't think, honestly, it's going to be Maxine, just because of that reason, because she's too lost in the shuffle to even be put in that conversation. And it's the same thing with Ivy Nile, right? Because we've seen her mostly on Main Event. That's it. Like, she's been making appearances on Main Event excuse me, as often as we had expected, and I don't think we're going to see her take that opportunity anytime soon. And as much as I would love to see Roxanne Perez take up that challenge, I think her and Raquel Rodriguez want the women's tag team titles more, but I think we need to see Roxanne Perez leave the Judgment Day and take that opportunity for herself, because excuse me, because imagine what happens if she did leave the Judgment Day. As a babyface, she could become a dominant champion like she was when she was the NXT Women's Champion as a heel. And one could argue that maybe that could be a possibility, but others could also believe that Becky Lynch could take up that could take her rematch and potentially find a way to regain the title, which that's another possibility too. But if we're being honest, I think we need to see Roxanne Perez as a singles champion in WWE, and what better way than the Women's Intercontinental Championship. But if you guys think that I am wrong and you think that someone else should take that opportunity, you guys can let me know in the comments below. And that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more WWE topic videos in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, excuse me, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.